Alright, so this knife thoughts video is going to be on this knife. And before I get into the video, I want to say that this is actually the second video I've made on this. I uploaded one previously. I made a small error. It was a genuine mistake, but I didn't want to leave that video up with the error and just, put a disclaimer in the description. I wanted to make a new video because I don't want to be putting any incorrect information out there. And we'll get to that here in a little bit, what that mistake was. The second thing I want to say before we actually look at the knife is a big thank you to Darren Orrell. He loaned me this knife for a review, and I really appreciate it. He's another one of the mods and admins at the Great Eastern Cutlery Club Facebook page. It's a really, really great group to be in if you like Great Eastern Cutlery knives and traditional knives in general. So check that out. And again, big thanks to Darren. But as you can see, this is an Albers Cutlery Company knife. It's in Ironwood. And as far as I can tell, these knives don't have model numbers or model names, but this is what you might call a regular or normal jack. And it has a clip point, as you'll see. So let's take the knife out. Comes in a pretty nice box, and it has a velvet bag here. So open it up. And the first thing I noticed, I don't know about you, but the first thing I noticed is that these covers are just straight up beautiful. Almost, like my jaw dropped when I first saw them. I think these might be the nicest looking wood covers I've ever seen. You can see it just has really vibrant, beautiful grain and just a lot of color to it. It's not, subdued. It's very, bright and, like I said, vibrant. So I just love these scales. I think that these covers are some of the prettiest covers I've ever seen on a knife. The second thing I noticed is that this knife, like other knives made by Eric Albers I've had, has the oversized nail nick. So just a real quick comparison to a case nail nick. You can see it's just longer and it's also deeper. So it has kind of a distinct look to it from other knives made by the maker that I've had. And it also is really functional. It makes it so you can really get a good bite on that nail nick and open it up. And then moving on to the construction, as you probably heard there, it has really nice walk and talk, really nice snap, a solid pull, probably about a 6 on the pull, I would say, and just really nice, smooth opening and closing snap and action. So really nice on that, and no blade play when open. It is well centered, not maybe 100% perfect, but very, very close, and certainly nowhere near touching the liners. As for any gaps and things like that, no real gaps that I've found here on this. Really tightly constructed, no gaps on the pins, which are very flush and very nicely done. And really nice transitions between the bolsters and the covers. No significant gaps there either. So really nicely made on that end of things. And getting to the mistake that I made in my previous video, and I looked at this knife a good bit before making the video, I said that the one thing, really the only issue with this knife, was that I thought that the shield was unpinned. And looking in here, now that I know where it is, I see it, but I looked in here and didn't see a pin going, where the shield was through the liner. And usually that's an indication that it's unpinned. It's just a glued shield. But as people pointed out on my previous video, the website says that they are pinned, and I posted my video and the question of whether they were pinned or not on Blade Forums, and Eric, the maker, actually replied saying that they are. And some other members pointed out that it's just very hard to see. So right here, right above my finger on this far liner, there's a very slight circle there. You can see it pretty well actually right now. And I did not notice that before when I was looking at this knife. Part of that is because pretty much every other brand, Queen and Gradation Cutlery, and really those are the two that pin their shields, you can see, it's going to be tough to see in that one, you can see the shield pin pretty easily. So here is a Gradation Cutlery, and right in here you can see that shield pin pretty easily. It sticks out a good bit. And that's the case on pretty much all GECs I've had. And that's also the case on this Queen. So you can see that shield pin really easily. And so that's what I was looking for, and I just didn't see it when I was looking at the knife. And I was surprised. I knew that it said that they were pinned, and you know, certainly I don't think that Eric, the maker here, is going to just like lie on his website, but I just didn't see that pin. And so I wanted to make this second video to, you know, make sure I got that right. It is pinned. It's just actually the reason I couldn't see it is because it's done more finely. It's done better than other knives I've seen. These ones is a little bit less, you know, finely or expertly done maybe. And not that it's a huge deal whether you can see that pin or not, that it sticks out on the GECs and Queens, but it does seem to be the fact that it is actually done a little bit more nicely on this Albers Cutlery knife. That is the reason I thought that it wasn't pinned. So the shield is pinned, and I wanted to make sure that I corrected that. Now you can see the Albers Cutco USA stamp, and I'm going to talk about what Albers Cutlery is here in just a second. And then the last thing, I also didn't mention the steel till later in the video. The steel on this, it's all stainless steel construction, and this is CPM154. So it's definitely a good steel. Maybe not the highest end of steels now, but definitely a good steel, and just a beautifully made knife. Really no issues at all on the construction of this knife. So next, after the construction of this knife, which is again pretty immaculate, I wanted to talk about what Albers Cutlery Company is. So Albers Cutlery Company is basically Eric Albers. And Eric Albers is someone who's been in the industry for a good long while. He originally was a cutler at Canal Street Cutlery. And Canal Street Cutlery, at the end, was apparently just a few people making knives, and they were trying to make big batches, and it just wasn't working out. And unfortunately, Canal Street Cutlery had to close down. And after that, Eric Albers continued to make knives. He made some knives as a kind of a co-op for Red Hills Cutlery. Those, I didn't get any of those. They were a little bit more expensive than I was hoping or than I was expecting. And that kind of seemed to fizzle out. He also made some knives for Red Trout Cutlery, which is just a kind of private label that was done by someone named Richard Lanigan, who unfortunately recently passed away, but they were really nice. I had one, and I do have a video on it, so you can check that out. I don't have it anymore, so I can't compare it to this, but very similar in its construction and definitely nice knives. And now, recently, Eric Albers posted on Blade Forums, and I believe also All About Pocket Knives, that he was finally, you know, going out on his own and having his own cutlery company, and that is Albers Cutlery Company. And so in the process, he, you know, got a website up and is making basically batches of knives. And the first batch came out, and I've been following Eric Albers on Blade Forums for a long time. I've been hoping to get, you know, one of these knives from the first run, since I, you know, knew that he was going to be making knives on his own as an individual and having his own company. And I saw his post on Blade Forums that they were up, or someone's post on Blade Forums that they were up and available just like a couple hours after they had gone up, I think, and or a couple hours after it was posted, and the knives were already gone. So I was really kind of disappointed to not get one. I really wanted to get one on the first run. But I'm not surprised that they went quickly because, again, this is a very beautiful knife. It is a handmade knife by one person. and they were priced really reasonably, as from what I can tell. There were a couple different versions of this Ironwood. There were some bone handled. I believe there were some like synthetic handles, and then there were even some mammoth, and they only ranged from something like $120 up to like $180 or so. Maybe a little bit more for some of the mammoth, but really what I would consider very reasonable prices, especially again considering that these are, maybe you wouldn't call it a custom because it's not made to your specifications, but it is a truly 100% handmade knife. And I think that they're a great value at the price that they were at on this first run. And I think that they will continue to go fast if they are, priced the same way going forward on the subsequent runs. So I actually have a notification set up on my computer for if more go up on the site. Hopefully it works because I'd really like to get one. But I think that, keep an eye on the site and submit. There's an email list, an email subscription that you can sign up for. And I would definitely suggest getting on that if you'd like to get one of these. And the website is alberscutlery.com. So pretty easy, just alberscutlery.com, and then there's the email sign up. I'm signed up, like I say, and looking forward to the next run because I think it's good to support, there's not a whole lot of companies making traditional knives, especially in America, and I think it's a good thing to support an individual maker like this, making such high quality knives and doing it in, kind of a classic way and bringing them to the market at a really fair price. So I will definitely be trying to get in on the next run. I think that this first run is going to be, all the knives from this first run are going to be very sought after and collectible. And I think the subsequent runs will be also. So this is the Albers Cutlery regular jack in Ironwood. And again, huge thanks to Darren Orrell for loaning this knife. I really appreciate it. And it's been, frankly, just a pleasure to get to see this knife. And I hope that this second video is enlightening, helpful, gives you a chance to check out this knife also. And if you enjoyed it, so consider subscribing to the channel. I've got lots of other videos like this, and I have more coming, and hit the bell for notifications so you see when I post those new videos. Also, check out my social media, all at Knife Thoughts, and my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and knife-related topics. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.